IG with the Italian sports guys. Bada-Boom!
Bada-Bing!
And of course, we'll get into the Saints preseason games very soon. This is a Brian Scheckstein State Farm recap. But first, we have a very special guest with the ISG Nation this week, Mr. Lonn Ellzey from VSN Louisiana, Varsity Sports Now. And Lonn, we had you, of course, on last year to give a little overview of what you guys are doing. But give the folks out there at ISG Nation a recap of what you're doing and also some of the great partnerships you've got just signed up recently to cover some sports in the fall.
VSN Louisiana is a high school sports digital network, web-based. Same concept, business model as ESPN+. It's a subscription-based network. You pay a small monthly fee, and you get full content, full access to all the content that we put out there statewide. The biggest things this fall we got going on, we're going to be streaming over 100 football games statewide from Shreveport, Lake Charles, Lafayette, Baton Rouge, the river parishes, the Bayou, the North Shore, and New Orleans.
Ramping it up.
That's it. Covers it all.
We're going to have a game of the week each week. We're also going to be streaming a 10-game game of the week volleyball schedule. That's not regional. That's just going to be one game somewhere in the state, mainly in the South,
right.
Each week for volleyball. We also are going to be doing a recruiting show, basically, called Unofficial Visits. We can talk about that in a minute as well. But the big announcements I want to put out there, and if you don't follow us on social media, I'd ask you to.
Yeah.
And I'll get to
Great
that.
follow on Twitter.
We got a great Twitter following. We're on Instagram and Facebook.
Lots of great content in addition to those live broadcasts.
Lots of free content, too. If you get on our social media, everything you get on social media is obviously free. The other stuff will be on the network itself.
Tell them what the Twitter address is, Lonn.
It's just VSN Louisiana, and as well as our Facebook and our at VSN Louisiana. Our Facebook is VSN Louisiana, and our Instagram is VSN Louisiana. It's all the same.
Make it easy.
Make it real simple. Big announcements from the last time I was here is we have signed a partnership with Walk-Ons
Fantastic.
to be our live stream football title sponsor. And what's amazing about that is you can go on the network and subscribe and watch, which we really want you to do, but Walk-Ons will be live streaming our games in all of their restaurants statewide.
Fantastic.
So that was part of the partnership to allow them. It's going to get people into their restaurant. They got the college Saturday crowd. They got the Sunday pro crowd.
Can't get to
now
see the bar there
high
on the
school
weekend. That's it.
Friday night crowd.
Fantastic.
And then we just this week have a partnership. We reached a partnership with Rouse's Markets. And Rouse's is going to sponsor our Unofficial Visits recruiting show. And they will also be the sponsor of our Scholar Athlete of the Game, in which we'll name a scholar athlete from all 100-plus football games and our 10 volleyball games. So they'll be a part of that. And we got one more we're working on. I can't let it out yet, but hopefully it comes through, and we'll have one more big sponsor, Louisiana sponsor, to get us through this fall season and be a part of what we're doing.
I think it's great. I told you this last time. I'll say it again. If you have a game or a team that you want to follow, see if they're going to be on there once or twice, and it's a great subscription, and it's so inexpensive. It's unbelievable, and it doesn't even have to be your team on a Friday night. That's for high school football,
right.
Man. That's what it is. And if you're out of town traveling and you want to watch a game back home, there you go. There's a great opportunity to watch it. If you're an offshore guy and you're on a rig, you have access to a website there. You have Wi-Fi, boom, you're on. So the possibilities are endless.
And the alumni bases that
alumni
are
base,
Right,
absolutely.
And what's another thing that we're about to launch is, it is a website. We call it a network, but it's a website, www.vsnlouisiana.com.
Right.
But we're about to launch our apps. So we'll have a app for iOS, for iPhone, for Android, and an Apple TV app.
Fantastic.
As well. So you'll be able to reach it that way. Phone, tablet, laptop, and now on the app, smart TV. So we're really, it's getting huge right now, and hopefully we can pull it off. That's what it is.
Yeah.
I was in the customer's office the other day when the Little League World Series team River Ridge was playing one of the qualifying games, and the guy had the game on. He was a big baseball fan, coaches Dixie Youth. I won't say where because I don't want to get him in trouble with his boss. But he had the start of the game. I got to watch a couple innings. So
Yeah, a couple things.
While convincing him to rent marine transportation equipment from McDonald Marine Service.
Of course.
The barge people. 504-780-8100.
You didn't crack open a beer too, huh?
No, not during working hours, Lonn. That's frowned upon. Definitely illegal, at least frowned upon.
A couple things I want to point out too. I can attest, this is not just somebody with an iPhone going live Facebook on a game. This is broadcast quality. Again, veteran sportscaster, broadcaster here, Eric Ritchie is part of that team. And I can attest, I helped these guys a little bit to cover a state lacrosse championship last year. Again, can attest to the professionalism of these guys, the way they cover the sports and do a great job. It's really bringing, how big high school sports is in South Louisiana. It's really bringing the digital age to catch up with the excitement behind the sports.
It's the way the media is going.
Right, yeah.
I mean, the digital and then the paywall.
Right.
Yeah.
And this isn't somebody with a camcorder. This is
No,
serious
I mean,
equipment with great angles to watch the game.
Correct. We're a 2-camera shoot, and everything we do, we'll have a tight and a wide, graphics, replays. We'll have a color commentator and a play-by-play guy. I'll throw some guys out. Our Baton Rouge play-by-play guy is Jordy Collada, a name that many of you guys know out there. One of our Shreveport play-by-play is Tim Fletcher, who has a radio show up there, big sports guy. Patrick Netherton is also on our Shreveport team, who's the voice of Northwestern State football, radio voice. So I can't compare to those guys. I'm going to be doing some color here in New Orleans as well, but, just knowledge of the game. But we got some, Rob Musmesh is on board with us. We got a bunch of guys who've been in the business a long time, and they know what they're doing. They're not just looking at. Sometimes you see those, like you say, the Facebook live shows, and you got a couple of yahoos, and they're just kind of like, hey, look at that. No, these are guys that they're going to talk to the coaches before the game. They're going to get information. They're going to know what they're talking about. They're going to know the players on both teams. And it's not about just streaming. I mean, we got content coming. If you go on our social media, you're going to see previews of teams on the North Shore, the river parishes, New Orleans. We're getting some content from Shreveport. We got a couple ex-coaches that are going to be doing some content for us up there. Lake Charles, we're getting some content, So
I'm excited about the recruiting show too.
The recruiting show is going to be great. Julie Baudouin, who worked for the Times-Picayune, NOLA.com, unfortunately, that whole mess with the Advocate and stuff. But she's really big in the recruiting, and she's going on this show, Unofficial Visits. We're going to pick 10 of the top recruits in the state. And she's going to go visit with those players, the coach, their parents, and put together a 5 to 7 minute, like an expose on these players. And you're really digging deep into what makes them tick and what are their goals and what are they looking for to choose their school.
What they find appealing, what turns them off maybe.
Because not many people, this process is, you got to understand some of these top kids, these Power 5 kids, they're getting 10, 15 phone calls a night from coaches.
Oh, look,
on top of their schoolwork and practice and everything else. So we're going to go see
it. If I told you about the at least 2 phone calls I got from that JUCO in Alaska when I was being recruited, it was a hard no. It was hard to say no, but ultimately they did. They said, no, you can't come here.
I got some calls from Rhodes College.
Yeah, you have to be smart to go there. They didn't call me.
Yeah. Well, we're excited, and Lonn, we're excited to be just a little bit of a promotional partner with you guys. We're really excited about what you guys are doing, what you're bringing to South Louisiana.
Can I say one more thing? I want to talk about the volleyball because we were talking beforehand, and girls sports often is unrepresented in the media.
It is underrepresented.
And us we're going to have some marquee matchups for our volleyball games of the week, and these are going to be midweek, so it won't only be like a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We're opening up with Cabrini Mount Carmel. Mount Carmel's 5 years in a row won a state championship. Cabrini has the number 1 player in the state. That's our opening game on September 6th, I believe it is, or somewhere in that area. But we've got games between and up and down the I-10. We have five of the returning defending state champs, and 3 defending runner-ups, including the Edie White Vanderbilt rematch, which was the state championship from last year. Turlings is on there, 6-time state champ, 6-time defending state champ. So really go check out, because these girls are amazing. Go check out the volleyball. The football is great. Football coach, football guys, we get it. But the volleyball is amazing. These girls put in as much work as the guys do, and they're awesome. So go check out those games of the week as well.
Country Day Cajuns, Coach
Country
Julie
Day's on there.
Megan Masson, and the Cajuns going back to defend their title.
That's right. And we got Country Day on a couple of football streams. with Justin Ibieta, her son, who's Tulane commit.
Yep.
We got them on a couple of times. So we're going to have some really good football. Next Thursday, a week from tomorrow, live stream, Carr Curtis from Berman Stadium.
Wow.
Next
That's
Thursday night.
a kickoff, right?
That's our kickoff for
There you
the
go.
2019 season.
Sounds
Top 20 ranked teams in the nation
country.
battling it out.
Two
So
Sounds
best
great.
teams in the
big
state.
time. Yeah, go check it out.
And as Lonn said, there's a little bit of a fee, but there is a lot of free content. The boss says we got to shake it down for just a little bit.
You gotta get a little something. You gotta kick up. We gotta kick up a little bit.
Hey, I
You
got
know,
kid-
envelope.
I got
You know, there
kids
you
to
go.
feed.
We got
There you
kids
go.
to
I got
feed.
I
kids
got
to
mouths
feed.
to feed.
It's a business. It's strictly business.
I got mouths to feed. I got things to break. I got to do stuff. A little something for the table. Just a little something for the group.
Well, Lonn's day job is all about prep sports, but he's a sports junkie just like Italian sports guys, so he's going to help us break down the Saints a little bit. Let me just start, guys, with the most recent preseason game. Of course, the Jets, the third preseason game, the most significant game of them all.
Sure.
We saw some of the first string guys for a little bit. Give me just your thoughts on what you liked on what you saw last week.
Well, we finally got to see Drew Brees, and he looks like he hasn't missed a beat. You go from those last play back, the touchdown pass to Michael Thomas.
Yeah.
His accuracy has been his thing. He's hung his hat on that his entire career. And you talk about put the ball on the money where only your guy can catch it, and that guy happens to be Michael Thomas. That's
Yeah.
a recipe for success. Alvin Kamara looked sharp as can be. I thought the offensive line got a great push. Finally got to see some of those receivers in line with Drew going back and forth. I thought that was very impressive.
How about you, Lonn, your initial thoughts?
I didn't think it was, a coincidence that, and correct me if I'm wrong, 3 guys touched the ball on that first drive.
Yeah.
Drew Brees, Kamara, and Thomas.
Yeah.
Right.
Nobody else touched the ball.
That's
I think
right.
he had a drop pass maybe, but all of the positive plays, it was those 3 guys.
Yeah.
Okay, and do want to, as an offensive line guy, I know Unger's out. We lost Unger. I like this rookie.
He's the real McCoy.
I think
Eric McCoy is the real
he's-
McCoy.
I think
He's a moose. Yeah, he's
I
a
don't,
moose.
obviously the experience, the veteran, we're gonna, you're gonna miss that with Unger, but from a physicality and a talent standpoint, I think this kid's more talented than Unger.
We talked about this on the show last week and came to kind of this conclusion. Look, we didn't know that Max Unger was sliding. Greg made a great point last week. The 2 games we lost towards the tail end of the season, we lost a game at Dallas during the regular season, and then the Rams game in the NFC Championship where they finished with more points on the scoreboard than us. I don't necessarily say we lost. That push up the push where they got us, where their defenses gave us problems, was that push up the middle. Nobody knew, and that's an NFL thing. You don't let out to what your injury list really is.
Yeah.
But Unger was declining. His health was failing him.
Yeah.
And so I thought that we were vulnerable up the middle. And this guy is not going to be Max Unger in week 1. But by week 5 or week 7, maybe week 9, give him time. He's a rookie. He is going to be a healthier version of what Max Unger was, hopefully. And
Without
I
a
think
doubt.
he's really got that kind of potential.
Yeah, without a doubt. And I think the thing that's exciting to me is when you watch him, the Saints in short yardage situations, they're going right behind him, and he's moving
Absolutely.
people off the ball. So that's really encouraging. Many of those short yardage, you don't have to go to the pass plays.
Yeah, if you follow Brian Baldinger on
Absolutely,
Twitter,
right, absolutely.
and he
Breakdowns, yeah.
breaks down the film and stuff.
Baldy
which
loves
he's,
this
he's
kid.
great.
He loves this
He's
kid.
like,
Without a question.
Look at the push and look. I worked for Barry Wilson for 11 years. Great coach, great college coach, and he always told me, if you're strong up the middle on both sides of the ball, you will win. And think about how that correlates to other sports.
I was just
When
getting ready
you're
to
in
say that.
baseball,
Baseball, yeah,
if
second
you're
base is
strong
short,
up the
that's right.
middle, you're going
Absolutely.
to be good. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's just if you're strong in the middle in basketball,
Basketball,
you're gonna be
point
good.
guard,
the
and you're
middle
five.
is the key, and that was a huge pick in the draft
Right.
for them.
Well, speaking of strong up the middle, what really impressed me as well is that both first teams look good against the opposing offense and
Yeah.
defenses. And the defense as well. Look, we're proving that last year, the number 1 run defense was not a fluke. Specifically, these linebackers look fantastic again. Demario Davis, really, these short yardage situations really look impressive. So ones versus ones, we are more physical, and that bodes well for those guys in the back end.
That defense may be taking yet another step.
Yeah, I
And look,
think
it's
so.
preseason. Let's
Right.
not get overexcited or over upset.
Right.
But I think that defense really looks like they're making that next step.
Right.
Okay, and to control the line of scrimmage like we have for most of the preseason, not so much the beginning of Minnesota, but after
Yeah,
that,
right.
throughout, very impressed.
And you're going to get Rankins back
That's
sometime in the first half of the season.
yeah.
A little bit
Don't
sooner
know
than
yet.
we thought.
Yeah.
Yeah,
sooner than
which
we
is
thought
going to
was
be
right.
huge. But that Demario Davis kid is.
He's
How
a
did
player.
Jets let him go?
Yeah.
I don't know. He was very productive there, but I think the fit and the fact that he's from down this way and playing back home in the South, I think he's really hit his stride as a professional.
He's in every down line.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
100%.
What about, let's go to flip side, guys. What do you think? Start with you, Lonn. What are your concerns after the third games? Anything you were a little bit concerned about going into this season?
Offensively, I think Who else is going to step up other than Michael Thomas, a receiver? I think that's a big question mark. They got some guys. Who can be the second and third tight end? I mean, obviously, getting the kid from
Jared Cook.
Yeah, Cook didn't play, so that gives us some.
He's going to be fine, but who else?
If Josh Hill can stay healthy, he's very athletic, can block, can do a lot of things.
Yeah.
A lot of things. He can do a lot of things.
Do some things. Yeah.
But Dan Arnold's strictly a pass catcher, so that's going to probably have Garrett Griffin on the bubble and out. So you don't have that third blocking tight end, and a lot of times that's what the third tight end is. He's a glorified offensive tackle. So we'll see. But
And the last thing is Kamara. How much more load is he going to have to take with the departure?
Well, Latavius Murray's going to get those carries,
He
and
will.
Ingram doesn't. But I think also, look at what Kamara did the first 4 games when Ingram was suspended last year. He's going to be carrying that same, not quite that workload with Murray there, but they're going to feed him a lot more. As much as he's gotten the ball in the last few years, he'll get a little bit more this year and see how he holds up.
What I like about him is he, at the end of the season, he's still
he's
rocking and
ready to
rolling
roll.
because he's not back there getting pounded. He's split out. He's a receiver. He's on the field, but he's not dotting that I.
Right.
70% of the snaps
Right,
getting pounded.
Earl Campbell,
So those are offensively. I kind of think that's where just some question marks. But I
the
think
second receiver is the thing, though. You said it.
Who's it going to be?
That's Traquan Smith is the talent guy, but he didn't do it last year consistently. He flashed, and right now I still think he's flashed. I don't even know if Kirkwood's going to make this team right now.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
and Ted Ginn Jr. is pretty much a deep threat.
Haven't seen a lot of them. Yeah,
I'm telling you,
And there's one other guy.
the two undrafted free agents, Lil Jordan Humphreys and Emmanuel Butler. I got a little something to say to them about them in the audio section. They might end up getting a lot more playing time than people think.
Yeah, Butler finally had some time to play. He missed the first game. He had a drop in the second game, but he looked pretty good. He looked the part this week out there. The guy, again, is intriguing that we've been following closely, Silver Grayson, our former Romo Raider. Well, I'd like to see that way for him to find a spot on this roster. I think he's still a long shot. His size and inexperience is going to hurt him. But boy, when you see the speed, he ran by this defensive back like he was standing still, and he looks like he's jogging. And the thing is, a lot of these guys look like interchangeable parts. These other wide receivers, a lot of them are solid guys, but not spectacular, not speed. At least he gives you a different dimension.
It's a different dimension. That's it. So.
Our quarterbacks, again, I think Teddy Bridgewater made a nice comeback after week 2. Looked kind of shaky week 2. Taysom Hill looks good again, a lot of versatility there. How about defensively? Any other thoughts on the defense?
You got to figure out what's going on with Alex Anzalone and Craig Robertson. It's Craig Robertson, excuse me.
Yeah.
You don't have to disclose your injuries in the preseason, and they are not saying they're worried about this, but I don't think either one of them's practiced since the Minnesota game.
Yeah.
And so that really concerns me. I don't know what's going on with Anzalone. After those guys, you got Vince Beagle.
Yeah.
And
who's played well,
who's played very well, but he would be starting if he was better than those guys.
Right.
You got the Colton Jumper kid who looks like a practice squad candidate. So on the defensive side of the ball, I'm very anxious to find out what Alex Anzalone's injury was, and will it be one of those hamper you all season things because you don't want that, or is it something that he needed the rest, he's ready, let's go.
And the thing with Anzalone is he's injury prone.
Yeah.
Sure. Even back in college.
Yeah. That was the knock on him.
That's can he stay healthy?
Right.
And right now he's not.
Well, he got hurt as a starter his rookie year last year. Didn't get hurt at all. Had a bang up year. Played his butt off. But after A.J. Klein and Demario Davis, again, question marks abound pending those two guys' health.
Yeah, and we talked about Davenport making the next step. He did have a pressure on.
I thought he finally looked good the other night.
He finally looked pretty good again. We're seeing some flashes. So even when you don't finish and get that sack, if you can disrupt the passing game, it's still effective. You can make those guys hurry up their throws and stuff.
I'm gonna call him a gamer and hang my hat on it.
Yeah, and again, we see
cautiously, but I'm doing it.
And we're seeing some improvement in Hendrickson, so maybe that gives him another option in the pass rush as well. Of course, the third piece of the puzzle, special teams. We have a real doozy. This guy who really stepped up, had an opportunity. Harris, he looked good. He made a mistake last week, but he came back with a big play, of course.
Pro Football Focus has him rated, again, albeit preseason, as the top return guy so far this year in preseason. But so this guy gives a different dimension. Like you said, Craig, he attacks the hole on a kickoff. He just looks like a natural. He looks comfortable.
And he's fearless back there, which is what you got to be as a return guy.
Absolutely.
You got to be fearless because you got 10 guys running down there trying to knock your head off, and you're running at them, not away from them. So, and that's what I see. He has no fears of taking that ball and, hey, I'm going to get it out there. I'm going to get as far as I can. So I like that about him.
Of course, we will see a whole lot Thursday in the final preseason game. Anything you guys are looking forward to the last preseason game with these roster spots on the bubble?
I would say do you give a guy like Marcus Sherrills even a shot back there at this point? Maybe you do to help him out, and you don't put Harris back there if he's going to be your guy. You don't want him to get hurt. You know, special teams where so many injuries occur. Other than that, you know, who's the last guy on the offensive line that doesn't make the cut? Is it Cameron Thomas? Is it Sicilian messenger boy Michael Ola?
Who gave a little lookout block last week. There's
really
a drop
hurt
off
him.
if Armstead goes out. Yeah.
I had him as almost as a lock to make this roster because
right.
I thought he looked good last year, and not so much
a
right
little
now.
scared, a little scared with that. How about you, Lonn? Anything on the last preseason game?
Just stay healthy. I mean, that's you know, that's why those coaches make that money they make, because you got to be able to juggle and see what you're going to do. You don't want anybody getting hurt, but you also, I'm sure there's some guys that are bubble guys right now that you need to make a final evaluation and see where they fit. Because come Saturday, that's a tough day in the NFL. You gotta cut about 30 or 40 guys from your
It's all at once
roster.
now. That's right. It's all at once.
It's no gradual
It's
cut
staggered,
anymore. You're going from 80 something to 53 real fast.
That's
so, you know, and that's, you know, those guys know what they're. Sean Payton's about as good as it gets when it comes to that kind of stuff. He knows how to judge talent. We've seen that in the draft recently. We've seen it, you know, in the guys he's put on the field. So, but I'm sure there's some guys that he's just doesn't know yet. You know, do they deserve to be on this team? So it's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, it's a not important preseason game, but it's important for a few guys out there. So they'll make or break this team. All right, once again, we want to thank our primary sponsor, Brian Sexton of State Farm, and of course, Luca Eats for all your game day food.
7329 Cone Street, Cone and Lower Line, Uptown New Orleans.
And again, we want to thank Lonn Ellzey from VSN Louisiana. Again, give all the website information for you guys.
So again, you can go to www.vsnlouisiana.com. That is the network, the website where all of our content is.
That's where you subscribe.
That's where you subscribe. The apps will be coming out if you follow us on social media at VSN Louisiana on Twitter, VSN Louisiana on Facebook, and is Instagram at, I don't know, it just got on Instagram. I don't know,
as the kids say, Insta. I'm not on Insta.
So whatever, just look up
Twitter
VSN Louisiana on Instagram. We're on there as well. If you go on there, all kind of announcements, that's where we put our stuff. Free content, you know, little short clips here and there, articles, print journalism, all that good stuff. So everything you need to know, you can find out on our social media platforms. Go follow us, go like us, and that way you can stay in tune with what we're going on when the apps get released, and that way you can get straight from your app. You can subscribe. $9.99 a month, full content. There's over 1,000 videos from past on there as well. Archive stuff going back to Odell Beckham Jr., Jarvis Landry, guys like that.
Back in our day, get some of the black and white photos up there.
That was that real to real stuff. No, we don't have that.
Stop it, play it back.
Yeah. But good stuff. Eric Ritchie, one of the best in the business.
Great job.
You know, things are rolling. Want you to tune in. We're gonna have some great things coming, and it's not just gonna end with football. So go check us out.
Yeah, we'll get those movie tone clips from back when you guys were playing back in the
right.
And look, these guys are awesome. I want to thank them for, you know, giving me the opportunity to come here and showcase and talk about it, and you know, whatever you can do to. And we're gonna promote you guys as well. We love what you guys are doing. I love it. It's great. So thank you.
Yeah, and if Lonn can find a few minutes to breathe in between all they're doing this fall,
he
can come back on.
Have him back on if we can.
Business.
Have back on if we can. If he can.
Summer's supposed to be like quiet time for high school
Not
sports.
so much.
No, I've been
Not anymore.
Try to put together a schedule, 10-game schedule in 8 markets with 100 games. Try to do that. It's not fun dealing with football coaches when they don't want to talk.
Excel doesn't do it for you?
No, because I know how I was. I didn't want to talk to guys like me now. You know,
I still don't like me.
But no, thanks to the coaches, administrators, all of you who have agreed to let us come into your stadiums. I mean, that's awesome too. So those guys have been great.
Congratulations on all your success, Lonn. We
appreciate it, guys.
We'll come back with the audio segment. We'll get into more detail on the Saints. We'll look at the LSU opener. We'll talk a Little League World Series as well. We are
the Italian Sports Guy.
Bada-Boom.
Bada-Bing.